Hello, I wanted to make a very quick video. Hopefully it's very quick because I want to stay on the point, and the most points that I hit from the last video are going to relate to what I want to address in this video as far as the relationships and the soul ships and the differences between experiencing our reality. The individuals who are caught up within the program. A lot of people talk about even within the Mandela effect and the New Age, and even a lot of the biblical perspectives, and I'm gonna relate it to the flat Earth at the same time too. A lot of people talk about this split that's happening, and I talk about it a lot in all the other videos, and how I observe it, which is pretty much at the core of why I want to do this video right now, is that we are faced with a choice, individually and collectively. And this is what I'm feeling like relates to like the 99th monkey stuff and all that, and the going into the 51st percentile of energy, and people who are in that space and people who are not will be a part of whatever reality they have chosen to experience. So people who are so caught up in the physical reality, so caught up in their artificial ego, so caught up in one version of experiencing their reality that they have separated themselves totally from the soul. So as you can understand, the so-called they are the individuals who actually worship the destructive intelligence, who have all but completely severed their threads to the collective intelligence, or the collective intelligence and the creative intelligence, or the Most High, what people call God, whatever it is. The individuals who have severed that cord and enjoy that space will create that reality and will experience that reality. The individuals who are also within that group are the individuals who, how I'm going to address it in this reality, are basically house slaves. People who are so hopeless, so fearful, so just old school, these old tired ass programs that exist in today, to where you can't even question your reality. You will not expand your relationships to each other. You will not understand history. You will not go into understanding the depths of programs. In fact, basically your emotions and your artificial ego take precedence over your actual understanding within your soul, which is an activation of your own soul connections as a whole, which is the shockwave to and through the collective understandings. The so-called the so-called powers that be, that operate, feed off of fear and parasite off of the innocent beings through illusion, those magic spells and those entities have created a reality which individuals can have an experience. And how I'm seeing it now, how it's all going to boil down to, is basically these old programs that people are still trying to keep alive within politics, still believing in politics, still believing in politicians and the university system and transhumanism and technology, worshiping the physical reality, connecting with these aliens and extraterrestrials that don't empower them to reconnect with their own roots, their own history, their own understandings, understandings, and overstandings of the space as a whole. And that's in reference to the artificial, the generic New Age reality. That's the co-opted version of what this shift is really about. That is another separation grid. The New Age agenda, the alien agenda, that is a separation grid. I just thought about this other documentary I watched a few years ago called Thrive. I forgot about this completely, but that documentary was talking about free energy and all this other stuff. That documentary was sponsored by Procter & Gamble, which is still running commercials and all kinds of other bullshit on YouTube and all kinds of other stuff. And people say, "Oh, well, those are the good people within the system." That shit is an illusion. That is no different than the coded programming that happens within the new Bourne supremacist of the Jason Bourne movie, where they try to get you to think that there are so-called good people within the FBI, good people within the CIA who are going to help, who are for humanity, who are for this. No, it is the actual system itself that is rotten, that is designed to separate individuals from their family, from their culture, from the Most High, all of the above. That's the design of this program. And what it really boils down to is this program, this separation program, is about the artificial and the natural. All of these laws being passed on top of massacres, broken treaties of the Native Americans, genocide, total ignorance, total destruction, that will be a destructive world that people will choose to be in. It doesn't matter how nice you think you are. It doesn't matter how spiritual you think you are. If you still exist in a powerless space, if you still exist in a world that is okay with that entire separation program, if you are okay with not having any kind of drive, no kind of willpower, totally hopeless, if you're okay with existing inside of the slave house while you have the plantation slaves still being sacrificed for this program, if you're okay with that, there are brothers and sisters that are all around the world, that are all over the place. There is no separation there. If you are okay with that, by still being okay with the technological system, the artificial versions of evolution and all this other stuff, and this is what I'm talking about with the whole flat earth community. I was going to tie in these so-called top brass, calling themselves top brass. They are okay with this. They are okay with that shallow version of understanding. They are okay with things just the way they are. They just want things to change to just being flat instead of round. But everything else is just okay. That's what they are saying when they are saying, "Oh, well, I can't wait till the flat earth gets within the mainstream and ... That is going to be an expansion of the program as a whole. Those are house slaves. Those are house slaves. This is what the orchestrated flat earth whatever community is about. Especially if it stays in that program and doesn't connect to the actual roots and essence of humanity. People are being systematically destroyed, systematically poisoned every single day. This is not new. This is not a new thing. This is ancient. This is old. And in many realities, it was it's just in our backyard, right in the back yesterday. These are these individuals who are trying to expand this program, whether it be by transhumanism or trying to adopt flat earth into the mainstream. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Because it's about the individual, inside the individual, and the collective individuals who have chosen to get off of the damn plantation and let go. If not actually like literally, but at least psychologically, intellectually, spiritually, are okay, are happy with letting go of that program. Who are okay for the sake of everybody. If you are not okay with that, then you are a house slave. This is what the split is happening. This is the split that is happening right now. The split between the individuals who have activated their lower chakras for the sake of everybody else. It doesn't matter how I'm a third eye shit and all this other stuff that you get into. No, the people who are connected to their solar plexus for the sake of every single other energy, life force energy being on this earth plane, who have not given away their willpower, who are not hopeless, who understand that there is an actual essence that exists in the soul that we are an expression of. There are people here who are inhabiting that space, and there are individuals who are trying to defend a slave program. They're not willing to give up what was stolen, not willing to give back to nature, not willing to reconnect with nature, not willing to trace those actual justice threads all the way to the depths of where they need to go. That's what I mean by a hopeless being and a house slave. People who are just saying, oh, it's okay. Oh, well, let's just protest to NASA and tell NASA to give. NASA, are you serious? You might as well be asking George W. Bush to give you some information about something. This is a slave program down to your soul. An enslavement of your soul. What is it? What's a slow? Yeah, a slow would be a slow-ass soul. But this is what's happening right now. Individuals who are caught up on the surface layers, the shallow versions of reality, thinking this is the way it is, still existing in the house on the plantation. This is it. This is done. This ain't no civil rights shit. Back the civil rights time frame, that was the last move for humanity that is going to be okay within the plantation. And this ain't no pipe dream or any shit like that. This is already happening. This is why I'm making this video right now. This is already happening. People are already sharing this information that disassembles the entire control grid. This plantation is being burned down. This entire system is being burned from the inside out. People are realizing this program and saying, no more. This is done. This is not worth children dying here or there. It doesn't matter. The whole shit has to stop. And you, in your own way, have to figure it out from your own roots, because there are already people who are already doing it. Some people come from the street version all the way up. Some people go from some people come from the root chakra up, and some people go from the crown chakra down. You meet at the heart chakra and you figure out what you're going to do and where you're going to go next in order to live out the rest of your experience. This is for the people who get caught up in the new age and get comfortable and just sit on the heart chakra, went from the crown down. People get caught up and fight through, actually make it through the street versions or the roots, get through the psychological programming of the sexualization of the entire system, and then fight through the hopeless state of beings to activate their willpower in their solar plexus, to tap into that place and activate and heal all of those chakras, to tap into the heart chakra. This is what's happening right now. But people get done with one chapter. They get done with the first chapter, whatever one they chose to go through first, whether it's the top down or from the bottom up, and say that's it. No, that's not it. You have to reconnect that story with all that is, and with the moment. You want to talk about oneness, you want to talk about, all this other stuff and connection to creator and spirit. For people who are talking about it in the flat earth community, oh yeah, we can realize there's a creator and all that. What does that mean to you though? So you can realize that stuff, but you can still consistently only talk about the scientific perspectives of the flat earth, which is setting the platform for the destructive intelligence, the university system, to do whatever it is that they would want to do to sell another agenda to the individuals who will just do like you are doing, just not even give a shit about the spirit or the soul or the connection to a creative intelligence. That is the control program right now is going on. People are caught in the false illusion of humanity. This evolution theory, this Big Bang theory, the globe model, all of these theories that are soaking out of the, or have leaked out of the university system. This is a slave plantation. And it's not going to be anymore. This is done. It's all or nothing. So stop fiddling around on the fence about what spirituality really is, or what the revolution really is, and all that Alex Jones, Young Turks, Bernie Sanders shit. That is all within the fucking plantation. That is some house slave shit. You want to be a house slave? Go ahead and be a house slave. But don't come over here and start talking that house slave shit to me. Or other people who have the willpower to think outside of that limitation grid. To think outside of that slave mentality. This is the split from those old ass programs. This is why the old school generation, the old school people, calling themselves New Age and all this other stuff, and even some of the new school generations calling themselves New Age, can't let go of these old programs. If you won't let that shit go, then that will be your reality. You will manifest whatever it is you hold on to. And if you haven't let go to reconnect to all that is, through the Most High, through your soul, to the Spirit. If you haven't done that, then you will be subject to the reality that you can't let go of. And that's these house slaves, these old ass programs. It's not that difficult to actually read these stories and look at these. It's only difficult because people get caught up in their artificial ego and their emotional, their reactionary state, reactionary versions of reality, and just don't want to look at this stuff, don't want to answer those questions for themselves. This is a soul enslavement. This is why these slaves were whipped into submission to so-called confess their love for Jesus Christ and all this other stuff. This ain't about politics and Bernie Sanders and the bankers and all this other shit that people are talking about in the mainstream and in the new age and even in the alternative news. It's beyond that. It's including all of that and beyond that, because all of that still exists inside the plantation. This plantation is done. And we have a responsibility to our children to see that and to move into that space. Otherwise, we're just fiddling around talking shit. That's basically what I wanted to put out there for this video real quick, is to really just kind of put everything into context, because this is how I'm seeing how it really boils down to, what it all boils down to. And the so-called flat earth community and all that other stuff talking about, well, when it goes mainstream, we're going to be on TV shows. You are already setting other people up, yourself and other people up, for failure. You're talking about an expansion of the plantation. Same goes for all this Black Lives Matter revolution stuff. That still exists within the box. I understand what it is saying. I understand what it means. What I'm saying is that if you matter to yourself and you understand what your roots are, then that shit that is being pumped out by the slave program wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't even make a difference, because what you are doing will be anchored in a higher vibration, which will force those other lower vibrations, this is the law of vibration, to adjust to the higher frequencies. If you are a house slave ass person living in the house plantation who are talking about, oh, well, we're just going to be okay with whatever gets put out there, then you will be existing in those vibrations and frequencies forever. And like I said in other previous videos, you don't have to do all this other stuff. The doingness will come naturally, but you have to first manifest those thoughts in your brain outside of fear. You have to activate that willpower, activate that space, those actual thought patterns, those frequencies before the doingness happens. This is where we get caught up in. This is what the design of the television, the alternative news, the mainstream news, the new age news, all this shit is designed to keep you vibrating on a space that is prefabricated to stay within the house, that the slave house on the plantation. Your thought patterns are connected to every single living being on the earth plane. And if you are hopeless and you have zero willpower, then you are existing in that slave house. And this younger generation is not having it. We are not going to have it. This is not what it's going to be about. We will not exist in another house, in another plantation. I don't give a shit how you dress it up. And this is just me talking. These are people who are already doing it. People are already making this move. I've just observed it and have realized. I took a step back and said, holy shit, this is what's going on here. You are either stuck in that slave house on that plantation, or you are finding out who and what you really are. That is that split. And if you call yourself truthing and truthers and all this other stuff, whatever label you put on yourself, expand out. Take a step back and see what's really going on here. This shit is a lot bigger than Facebook and Instagram and all this other stuff. This goes down to your soul. And people are not going to stand around and just let this shit happen. This plantation is done.